Welcome to Conservation Conversation. Do you remember this summer when it was just really hot every day? Well, if you want to be transported back there, your device is about to do that. You'll see my conversation with Alex and Silvia from Yorkshire Wildlife Trust. We filmed this summer at Wheldrake Ings, and it was baking the entire day. Little did we know at the time, but Britain was experiencing its hottest summer ever. Feels like you hear stuff like that all of the time, but it was true. Anyway, let's go now. We're not talking about that. We're talking at Wheldrake Ings about the fact that I should have brought a hat. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to sit at a slightly unnatural angle to you like this.
Yeah.
I don't think that'll look too weird. I think we'll be fine, won't we?
Next year, bring a cat.
Yes. It's not part of my attire though.
I've got a really nice Yorkshire Wildlife Trust sun hat.
Have you?
I do actually, yeah.
What, on you this very second?
Yeah, do you want me to go?
I
Give me
should
a bag.
Would you mind if, are we still rolling? I'd love to
Yeah.
get that, thanks Alex, that'd be great. Well, we're putting all of that bit in then.
I say this, I feel like I'm sure it's in here.
If you have, that's amazing.
Oh, and do you know what, John? I've taken it out.
Oh mate.
Okay.
Well, it's all right. If you want to go, me and Silvia will finish the interview. Is that all right? No, don't worry. I'll survive. Yeah. I'm being a right diva. I never normally do this.
It's a little bit hot, but if you like.
No, I'm all right, mate. Thank you. How? I'm not asking for statistics, but how rare is this kind of site in terms of what you manage? Is it one of a kind?
I mean, Wheldrake's probably up there, maybe not of sort of that one of a kind. It's sort of internationally important. It's an internationally important site for sort of ground nesting birds. So that's at a European level, you know. So it's really valuable habitat, and there will be other sites like this, you know, in Yorkshire, in the country. But there's so few and far between, which is why they're so important, which is why, you know, we need more of them, you know, to add that connectivity for these birds migrating, you know, moving across the continents, moving across the countries. Yeah, we need more connectivity between all these, you know, beautiful habitats, really.
Absolutely. We've got a drone now and I can fly over certain things. Not here, not allowed to fly here, but just looking at the way the landscape is divided up is pretty stark in the British countryside, isn't it?
It can be, yeah.
Everything's a fence and a motorway and a fence again, isn't it? You know.
I think what people often sort of, I guess for a lot of the public maybe, you know, you think you see countryside and you see an arable field, you know, wheat growing or something like that, you know, more the yellow oilseed rape, you know, stuff like that growing in a field, and you think, oh, that's, you know, wildlife is using that, but wildlife will use that and you will get invertebrates in there, but it's not as valuable habitat because it's all these monocultures, it's all this, you know, one thing growing. Yeah. Whereas you get the real good habitat when you have that diversity. That's why we talk about biodiversity.
Like this here, right?
The wider range of different flora, the different plant species, and again that balance between, you know, the river and the floodplain and the trees and the woodlands and everything like that. It all sort of intermingles, and you get these really mosaic habitats that wildlife can then really thrive on because there's bits for everyone. You know, there's
all the different species and vertebrates, microbes that come out of
and everything
that,
relies a little bit on each other. You know, so it's encouraging that and trying to provide more areas like that.
I mean, sat here right now feels quite hopeful. This is a lovely space that we're in. You've got the project going. Does this, Silvia, I'll ask you first, does this make you hopeful for the future, a project like this, or do you worry about the future?
I think we can be quite hopeful. So we are receiving more funding than in the past.
Okay.
So there are plenty. We are looking at catchment-based catchment solutions. For example, we're not just working at Wheldrake Ings. So, for example, the aim of the catchment partnership is to work across the whole catchment. We not just look, okay, Wheldrake Ings, so we work on top of the catchment, for example, tackling the invasive species that make sure they're not going to spread all the way down to the reserve or further down, but we also look at natural flood management. So again, we work at the top of the catchment. So we're looking at the bigger environment.
And so from your perspective, there is reason to be hopeful?
Yes, there is a reason
to be hopeful. That's really nice
hopeful.
to hear.
Yes.
I think most people have a degree of anxiety about the future, but it's nice to be hopeful.
Well, they are right, I guess, but we are heading the right direction, I would say.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's a really encouraging message. How about you, Alex? How do you feel?
I'm maybe a little bit more pessimistic. I feel like I'm normally quite optimistic, but I think there's a lot in decline at the minute. We released a report, The State of Yorkshire's Nature, which got quite a bit of publicity. And although there are some species are increasing, they're generally more common species, that we'd find every day generally anyway. And our more niche species, the diversity that I was talking about before, is declining. We're losing, some of the species that rely on more specific types of habitat.
Sure.
There's reasons to be optimistic. I think working in this sector, it's a bit of both. You're optimistic and pessimistic at the same time.
Interesting.
There's some really exciting and hopeful messages and research and work going on all across the country. And I think when you work with other people in this sector, everyone's of that same attitude of you want to do more. You're trying to do more, and you're trying to bring everyone else along that journey. And I think that's why we try to do that as a lot. With our members that are terrific and our volunteers. We can't do it without them.
Yeah.
When you surround people with other like-minded people, you can feel very hopeful.
Yes.
Yeah. But at the same time, when you see some of the research that's coming out, it is a little bit worried at the same time. And we know we want to try and convince more people to come on this journey with us and help us make these changes.
So, to me, your jobs are fascinating and something that I wouldn't have even, before I got into the world of conservation or trying to understand it, I didn't understand what a breadth of jobs there were. But Silvia, I ask you first, how did you get into this world? How did you start working in conservation?
I guess, like most people, so I started with a degree in environmental science, conservation. I've always had an interest for wildlife, for the outdoors. And then just after finishing with my studies, it was a lot of volunteering, internships. And
is it quite competitive then?
It
so
is.
You have to do volunteering to
Yes.
sort of get your name in there.
Yes, it is quite competitive, to be honest.
I wish there were more jobs, but it seems like there's a lot of work that you guys do that needs doing. Do you think there's enough of you guys out there to do the work that needs doing?
No, definitely we will need more people, but I guess that comes with funding, especially if you work for a charity.
Yeah.
But I think everyone is struggling, but more funding, but we definitely need more people.
Absolutely.
Yes.
The sign of the times, isn't it?
Yes.
Alex, why Yorkshire Wildlife Trust then? I'm asking you that question quite pointedly. You're more local than Silvia and I to Yorkshire, aren't you?
Yeah.
Why Yorkshire Wildlife Trust for you?
Mine's a bit of a weird sort of journey into conservation to the Yorkshire Wildlife Trust, because I didn't do anything particularly related at university. I did politics and international relations.
Okay.
So nothing to do with conservation
You
or
two should have a
geography,
chat.
or anything to do with wildlife. But I grew up and my parents lived just down the road from our West Yorkshire base in Huddersfield.
Yeah.
And during one of my summers at university, I was looking for something to do, and my parents suggested going up to Stirling, the local nature reserve, and helping out there really.
Right.
And I went up, and I think the first day and I helped build a dipping pond platform, and learned a little bit about sort of pond wildlife and how that was going to be used as an education platform for people coming to the site. And then the day after or the week after, I was then going out fencing, and I did that for 3 months solid and loved it. And this is when we were grazing, getting cattle into graze the meadows there. And
right.
I just absolutely fell in love with it. So after I finished university, I came back, like, this is what I want to do. Nice. And a bit like you, I didn't really realise there was conservation and doing this stuff for wildlife was a job and you could do this. And I was like, all right, I can get paid to do this. This is amazing. And I think Yorkshire Wildlife Trust in particular, because I had quite strong moral values, and I still have quite strong moral values now, but it just felt like I was working for an organisation that wanted to make a difference, that wanted to do what was right and protect our environment, protect our wildlife. And again, I guess growing up in Yorkshire, being a bit of a Yorkshire lad, I was, and I think you might be able to tell by my accent, which I don't think I've got an accent, but everyone always reminds me, oh, you've got a right accent, so partly so. But so growing up in Yorkshire, I was like, I want to do it for Yorkshire Wildlife Trust, and they've looked after me, and it's been, you get involved in such a wide range of work, it's a great place to be.
Thanks, Alex and Silvia. Thank you for your patience while speaking to somebody who was looking at you like this. You can see more of that after this advert.
This programme is brought to you by genuinely beneficial products. This week, genuinely beneficial product.
Thanks as ever, genuinely beneficial product. At the end of this video, we've got all the usual recommendations and ratings and rankings coming up. But first, let's go back to Wheldrake Ings, where I'm talking to the guys about DVD extras. I'm trying to get the crew more involved in the films as well, because we've got this TV production background.
Well,
the joke I want to make is like, this is how you make an interview or whatever, you know.
I think that's quite good though, because like it's stuff that people never see. People never see people behind the camera. And
I would
stuff,
like to think that's the case.
I think
yeah.
so you get like, obviously, like you used to get all the extra footage on DVDs and films and stuff, and I used to love watching all the extra footage of like how stuff's made and everything.
It was only the DVD era where they did that, and now it's streaming. You don't get any
You don't get any of that. Yeah, and I actually quite miss that.
Absolutely,
I miss all that stuff.
I completely am with you there, mate.
Bit of a big nerd, but
Oh no,
Well,
it's still like the end of it.
Everybody happy?
Yep.
And rolling.
Rolling.
Speed. I'm here to learn, obviously, about other invasive species. That's why I've come to you guys. Giant hogweed's a problem. Tell me more about how you attack that.
So as a trust, the best method is we go out as early as possible. So we go out in April when the plant is still really small, so we can use the least amount of herbicide and just damage the least amount the local wildlife.
And so when you say we, is this something volunteers are able to get involved with, or is that up to the professionals, the giant hogweed?
In terms of giant hogweed, this usually you have to be certified or qualified, but volunteers are more than welcome to help with surveys, report. We always encourage everyone to report an invasive species, and we will deal with it.
And how would people get involved with Yorkshire Wildlife Trust if they wanted to just sort of dip their toe in it as a volunteer?
Well, they're welcome to contact our volunteering team, and our volunteering team is quite good to find opportunities local to people, so they can redirect it to their own small leaders.
I can only imagine Yorkshire is a huge area of the country. Does Yorkshire Wildlife Trust cover the whole thing?
yeah, we're doing stuff all over Yorkshire, all the way from sort of the moors and the Yorkshire Dales, right up there. So we have like a wild Ingleborough project going on at the minute, which is they do a lot of groundbreaking work, do our peat team in sort of peatland restoration and stuff like that. And then we do have a marine team, so we're working all the way from up on the peatland, so the uplands, all the way down to the coast. So we have a marine team doing work all the way down there, doing stuff like seagrass restoration and oyster restoration. So, and everything in between, from like our nature reserves, like beautiful Wheldrake Ings like we're here today, but then all river projects like the Yorkshire Derwent Catchment Partnership do, and then invasives and other stuff, and natural flood management, a whole wide range of different things across Yorkshire.
And so it's safe to say then, wherever you are in Yorkshire, there is a volunteering opportunity local to you.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. Yeah. So we have regional teams, sort of north, south, east, west. And we've got projects and reserves in all of those different regions, and there'll be work that anybody can get involved with and help out with.
Brilliant. I can honestly attest to that being a really valuable thing. It's amazing when you're just hanging out in a place like this. Do you get this? Who out of you will come out with volunteer groups? Do both of you do that, or is that not your role exactly?
Yes, I do, mostly here at Wheldrake Ings, but also Barn Beyond the Marsh is another SSSI, which is where the Derwent flows into the Ouse.
Lovely. So you'll know then, Silvia, when you get volunteers out here, the conversations just come up, and one person knows something about this tree, or another person knows a bit more about the project today. Tell us a bit about that. You know, what is the best part about volunteering in a group of people?
Oh, the best part is that each volunteer brings their own unique experience and set of skills. There are many volunteers who are bird experts, and you can learn a lot from them. Some volunteers, maybe they're really helpful with fences. So you just have a wide range of skills coming to help.
I tried to convince the group that camera skills were a useful skill for volunteering, but apparently it was better if I did some balsam bashing. But, what would you say? I've sort of given my idea of getting involved. What would you say to somebody, I'll ask you first, Silvia, who's worried about the future? What can they do?
Well, there are plenty of things they can do. You can start from home, you can manage your own green space, your own garden, your own balcony. Make sure when you buy plants, you buy responsibly, so buy anything that is not maybe an invasive plant, or if you buy anything, just make sure it doesn't spread outside your area.
Yeah.
Just make sure you don't overmow your garden, you leave a patch for wildlife. Like I said, you could either come volunteering with us, the Wildlife Trust, or you can volunteer with a smaller local action group. You can create your own local action group. There are plenty of things we can do as individuals.
It is about getting hands-on, do you think?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly, yes.
Yeah, I think so. Alex, I mean, we've said a lot of answers there, but what would you say if people are worried?
Yeah, I think probably reiterating a little bit of what Silvia said there. I think, 100% get hands-on, get involved. I think, I kind of feel there's a bit more of attitude nowadays where it's somebody else's problem and somebody else is going to, pick up the slack, or that's somebody else's issue to deal with. And I feel like we can all take probably, and myself, included in that, I think we could probably all, take a bit more responsibility ourselves and try and do a bit more. And I think hard things always, change is always the hard thing to deal with, and it takes us all to try and commit to that and to try and work together to do better, doesn't it, really?
Yes.
But I think 100% try and get involved. Like I say, we have some advice. We have some teams that work with engaging with people and just local groups and local communities, and educating them on how they can make their own green space, so your own garden, better. We have a project that was working in Bradford that, which is obviously quite an urban space, an urban area, and people who didn't even have grass or a lawn or anything like that, who just had maybe even just putting like a plant pot out with some flowers in, stuff like that. Every little bit actually helps. I have the tiniest little bit of a front lawn, and I've let that, grown into a little bit of a wildflower meadow.
Lovely.
And in the 2 years since I've started doing that, I've seen so many more butterflies and invertebrates and bees passing through when I come out of my front door. And I think it's little stuff like that which, again, going back to the bit about hope, gives me a little bit more hope that actually the little stuff you do actually does make a difference, and you can see it, changing and making a difference in your area. And if you can convince other people to do that as well, it all adds up, I'd say. So
that's a really
little bits, go a long way.
Now listen. You can't be focusing on climate change every single day of your life. It might have been the hottest summer on record out there, and I might have got burn on this side of my face and constantly looked at Alex and Silvia like this. But you can't spend your entire life thinking about climate change. That's why the book of the week this week is called Human Errors. It's by Nathan H. Lents. It's currently free on Audible. We are not sponsored by them. Human Errors is a book all about the anatomy of the human body and its evolution and how it's absolutely not perfect. It's a really nice palate cleanser from all of the climate change and conservation stuff that I panic about all of the time. And to boot, the narrator is incredible. He's an actor. I forgot to look up his name. I'm so sorry, but it drifts by, and for all of those reasons, it checks all of the boxes. It's a 14 out of 14. That's genuinely beneficial. And I suppose it's tradition to give you a podcast of the week. I haven't thought of one this week, so we're just going to go with No Such Thing as a Fish. If you haven't listened to No Such Thing as a Fish and you are watching this, I don't know what's wrong with you. Get on with it. Anyway, it's time now for Production Insights. Okay, what we got here? I finally searched for conservation conversation and found that one other person had made that joke before. It's the YouTube channel, BirdLife South Africa. YouTube channel of the week. Go and check them out. It seems really nice. I listened to half an interview, got to admit, only found it this afternoon. Sorry for borrowing the name. Mine doesn't have an S. I guess that's different. The second one was sent in by Alessandro. Thank you very much, Alessandro. He noticed that there was a blurred title on the last video with Alex and Silvia. I attributed them to blank Wildlife Trust. No one will ever find out what's behind that blur. I will carry it to my grave. Executive producer wife would like to let you know that she went fungi IDing and foraging today, and it was great, so you should do that. And finally, Phife Dog apologises he couldn't be here for the shoot today. He's got other commitments. That's it, that's all we've got time for. See you next week.